All right, let's get right into it. We all love to daydream about being a billionaire, right? But let's put that fantasy on the shelf for a minute, because today we're going to focus on a number that is way, way more important. A number that can actually change the entire course of your life.
We're not talking about $1 million. We're not even talking about 10 million. No, we're zeroing in on a much smaller, almost humble amount. But it's the one that legends like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger say is the single most critical financial hurdle you will ever clear.
And that number is $20,000. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wall Street would probably laugh at that, right? That's like the wine budget for one of their dinners. But to guys like Buffett and Munger, that's it. That is the hardest and therefore the most important money you will ever save.
So why? What's the big deal about 20 grand? Well, the answer is pretty fascinating. It sits right at the crossroads of physics and finance, and it explains literally everything about the struggle to build wealth from the ground up.
And that brings us to our very first idea, escaping financial gravity. I want you to think about your financial life like a rocket that's trying to blast off into space. That zone, the one between having $0 and having 20,000, well, that's your own personal gravity well. You see, to get into orbit, a rocket burns most of its fuel in just the first few minutes. All that fire and fury isn't about going far. It's just about fighting Earth's pull. And that first $20,000, that's your fuel. You're not even moving forward yet. You're just fighting like hell to break free. And this slide, man, this captures it perfectly. When you're below that number, you are living in a state of extreme fragility. A $500 car repair isn't just an inconvenience. No, it's a full-blown crisis that could make you choose between paying rent or getting a predatory loan that just sucks you deeper into that gravity well. And this is how it keeps you pinned down. It's a death by 1,000 cuts. It turns out being poor is incredibly expensive. You get hit with fees because your balance is too low. You get hit with penalties because you're a day late on rent. You're forced to buy cheap stuff that breaks, which costs you more in the long run. It's a system designed to keep you stuck. But then you do it. You cross that $20,000 line, and something almost magical happens. It's not just about the money anymore. It's a deep, fundamental shift in your psychology. You've just unlocked what Buffett calls refusal power. Just look at this comparison. It tells the whole story. On the left, you've got Jack. He has zero savings, so he's living in survival mode. His boss asks him to do something completely unreasonable. Fear completely hijacks his brain. He has to say yes. But then look at Mike on the right. With that $20,000 cushion, he can take a breath. He can think. He actually has the power to push back. Or you know what? Even walk away. And that's the whole point. That $20,000 isn't just money in a bank account. It's body armor. It's body armor for your personality, for your dignity. It's the capital that allows you to finally say no and start negotiating from a position of strength instead of desperation. And get this, there's real science to back this up. Researchers in the book Scarcity discovered that constant financial worry is the mental equivalent of losing 13 or 14 IQ points. Your brain is so busy just trying to survive that you have no mental space, no bandwidth left for long-term thinking. That $20,000 buffer, it silences the alarm bell and gives you your brain back. Okay, now for the mathematical shift. This is where things get really exciting. You know, Einstein supposedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. But here's the secret. It needs a critical mass to really get going. And in your financial life, $20,000 is that critical mass. Just look at the difference here. A 10% return on $1,000, that's $100. Come on, that's just noise. It gets swallowed up by one dinner out. But a 10% return on $20,000, that's $2,000. $2,000. That could cover a month of your salary. That could cover 2 months of rent. That is a structural, life-altering change. This right here is the turning point. It's the moment you switch from being human-driven to being capital-driven. You've effectively hired an invisible partner that works for you, around the clock, never complains, and earns back an entire month of your freedom every single year. And just watch how that partner grows. There's a simple rule of thumb in finance that says with a decent return, your money can double every 7 to 10 years. So if you never added another penny, that initial $20,000 snowball could become over $500,000 by the time you're ready to retire. That's the machine at work. Okay, so we have to pause here because we've reached what I think is the most dangerous chapter in this whole story. A lot of people actually get to $20,000, but you know what? Most of them end up broke again. Why? Because they fail to pass what I call the Great Filter, which is a series of brutal psychological and social traps. The first trap comes from inside you. You spent years sacrificing, saying no to things, and your brain is screaming for a reward. You deserve it. Then you see it, that shiny new car, and the down payment? It's exactly $20,000. So you spend it. And in that one moment, you kill the golden goose that just hatched. You're right back at zero. Only now, you're even deeper in the hole.
And then the second trap comes from the outside. The minute you start saving and being disciplined, some of your friends and family might get weird. They might start calling you cheap or a miser. Why? Because your discipline is a mirror that reflects their own indulgence. So just like crabs in a bucket, they'll try to pull you back down. You absolutely have to resist.
So you've survived the filter, you've fought off the internal urges and the external pressure. Congratulations. Now, let's get tactical. Here is the actual blueprint for how to grow that $20,000 seed into the next major milestone, $100,000. First thing you're going to do is split your money into two distinct jobs. You'll take about $8,000 and put it into a boring, high-yield savings account. That's your bulletproof vest. You don't touch it. It's not for investing. It's for buying you a good night's sleep. The other $12,000, those are your soldiers. You deploy them into low-cost index funds and you send them out to work for you. Now, I need you to listen to me very carefully. This is the death list. These are the three things that will instantly send you back to zero. Number one, absolutely no leverage. Never borrow money to invest. 2, do not touch derivatives, options, futures, stuff you don't understand. And 3, don't buy a house yet. It will suck up all your cash and destroy the refusal power you just worked so hard to gain. So what's the smartest use of your capital at this stage? It's taking a small asymmetric risk by investing in you. Spending $1,000 on a course to learn a new skill has a limited downside. The most you can lose is $1,000. But if that skill adds just $500 to your monthly income, the upside is basically infinite. And that brings us to the real goal here. True wealth has nothing to do with fancy cars or luxury goods. It's about freedom. It is purely about having control over your own time. That first 20 grand gives you an invisible dividend you can't see, a low cortisol life. You sleep better, you're less anxious, you're healthier. And that peace of mind, well, that's priceless. Remember, that first $20,000 isn't for rewarding your past self for all the hard work. It's for purchasing your future. It's your seed. And if you eat your seed, you will never, ever see a harvest. So the final question is for you. What are you prepared to sacrifice starting right now to make a contract with your future self and finally escape financial gravity? The game is on. Go win your first round.